first exercise, dumbbell rows, so 3 sets of 6, and then you're gonna drop the weight by 20 pounds and do 2 sets of max reps after that. Make sure you get a full stretch. You can elevate the bench like this. Otherwise, your dumbbells are gonna hit the floor if you're holding on here. So that's why I do it here. You wanna get a full stretch like that, and then a row. So don't worry about weight, but get that full stretch so you get those lats to grow. So we did our 3 sets of 6, dropped it by 20, so we're at 95, and 2 sets of max reps. Full stretches, full range of motions, full muscle growth. Boom. All right, exercise number 2 is a superset. So alternating lat pull down, supersetted with supported bent over barbell row. You can do these with a bar if you're at a commercial gym and you can't do separate arms. Because I don't have something blocking my knees, the weight will pull me up. So doing it alternating allows me to use less weight and therefore it won't pull me up when if I did it with a bar, I would need more weight and it would pull me upwards. So that's why we do it like this, but also it keeps a lot of time under tension. Okay, start over. So exercise number 2 is a superset, lat focused. So alternating lat pull down, you can use a bar and do it bilateral if you want to, but doing it alternating keeps the tension. So you're doing time under tension for the lats. So you get a good stretch, and then superset it with bent over barbell row with your head supported, so no cheating reps. All right, exercise number 3. So seated cable row, a little bit different than what I typically do. We're gonna do it on the bench. So you have to keep your forehead touching the bench, that way no cheating. We're gonna do alternating like this for that time under tension. And then we're gonna do T-bar row, one arm. So we're gonna grab it distally or low. The lower you grab it on the barbell, the more lower part of the lat we're gonna work. And so we wanna work this lower part because we typically get a lot of this upper portion with pull downs, incline cable rows or T-bar rows, things like that. So we're gonna do it like this. So you're gonna grab it low instead of closer to the weights. So 10 reps per arm here, and then 10 reps per arm here for 3 sets. If you're doing it like this at home, typically you have to weigh down the bench because it'll tilt up when you hold on to the weight, and then have a plate between the bench and the cable machine. That way it's not gonna slide forward because that weight will pull you forward. Again, if you don't have cables like that, you can just do it with a bar, although it might be hard to pull it all the way to your chest. The bar might hit that. If you can, try to set higher than the bench. What you can do is stand up, keeping your chest against the bench. That way you can still pull to your chest and not cheat by keeping the chest against the bench. If you have to lean back, then that's cheating and that rep doesn't count. Dropping it. Okay, so that's it for the weightlifting. So I'm gonna do some mobility, ROM, range of motion work. External rotation stretch is just like yesterday. Today we're gonna use the hooks. That way we don't have to hold on to the cable because the forearm tends to get fatigued if you do it like that. So if you have the hook, you can just passively let it stretch you. It tends to work better for me at least. So you don't even have to hold on. Just let it passively stretch you. All right, next is going to be the shoulder extension stretch. So you're going to need a band, or you could use the cable, or you can use a barbell, which I can show you how to do that. But with the band, you'll wrap it around your hand, like so. And then basically you're just letting the band pull you into extension, shoulder extension. So we're stretching all of this. You can get down lower to stretch more. If you have your forearm pronated, so like this, you're gonna stretch a lot of the bicep. If your bicep's really tight and doesn't let you fully extend the shoulder to stretch the shoulder, then just supinate it and stretch it that way. So, pronated, so biceps and anterior deltoid stretch like this. Make sure to keep your chest up. Don't lean forward like that to get more range of motion. So chest up. If you want to, you can supinate, and that's mostly pec and anterior deltoid with not or minimal bicep stretching. So it depends on what you want to stretch. You can turn away from the arm that's being stretched, or if it's too much stretch, turn towards it. Again, remember, try to keep your chest up high. If you can't, you can stand up a little bit. Okay, next is going to be the Vastus Lateralis, but basically it's a general quadricep stretch. So the Vastus Lateralis is this part of the quadricep. This is the Vastus Medialis oblique. The Rectus Femoris is that one right there. And then underneath it is the Quadricep Intermedius. So we're going to focus on the lateral one because if it's tight, it can pull your patella laterally and cause maltracting and cause what's called chondromalacia over time, or softening of the cartilage underneath the kneecap. So first we'll do a general quadricep stretch. So basically, you're just going to have your leg up on a bench. So next is going to be the quadricep / vastus lateralis stretch. So the vastus lateralis is this one, vastus medialis oblique is this one, rectus femoris is this one, and deep to that is the vastus intermedius. We want to focus on the lateral one because it attaches to the kneecap out here, and if it's tight, it'll pull that kneecap laterally, which can cause softening of the cartilage underneath the kneecap and eventually osteoarthritis and knee pain. So you're just going to do a general quadricep stretch with your leg up on the bench. Typically you want something to rest on, otherwise you're going to get tired. And what you're going to do, you don't want to hyperextend your spine to get a stretch. So you find a good spot where you're getting a good stretch, and then you're going to lean towards the side that's not being stretched and rotate towards that side. And you should feel a really good stretch along the outside of the quadricep there. So that's what we're focusing on. And you can also put your hand on your heel or put a pillow or something on your heel and wedge it against your butt. And that can, get that much better. So right there, I really feel it. So, possible squat day tomorrow. We'll see how we feel. If we're too tired from doing the deadlifts yesterday, then it'll be an off day with more stretching and mobility work. Always listen to your body. You don't have to do certain lifts on whatever day it is. The target, the rectus femoris. So it's a little bit different than the rest of the quadriceps because it actually crosses the hip joint. And so having a tight rectus can cause you to have anterior pelvic tilt and hip flexion, which in turn can cause low back pain over time. So same thing, leg up, then you're just gonna lean forward, as so, as far as your body will let you, and you'll really feel it right here. So you're going to target those hip flexors. So the rectus femoris, having the knee up, stretches the quadricep more, so that's why it's more rectus femoris. If you do the stretch like this, where you're leaning back, stretching these hip flexors, since the knee is not bent, you're going to be targeting more of the iliopsoas, the other major hip flexor, but we're concerned about the rectus femoris. That's the muscle that typically gets tight. So you want to stand up nice and straight, but don't hyperextend the back. So keep your abs nice and tight. That way you can't. It's hard to hyperextend your spine if your abs are tight because the abs actually do posterior pelvic tilt, or they cause flexion of the spine. So you can't really extend it, hyperextend it if your abs are contracted tight. So another thing I like to add while I'm doing this one to get extra mobility is you use your elbow of the opposite side that's being stretched to push that knee outwards. Make sure the heel is staying on flat on the ground, so not like that, but down. So I put my fingers in here, push down there, and push out here. So you can hit
your adductors as well. And that's important because remember when you squat, you want to push those knees out. And so this helps get you into a deep squat and also helps with that sumo deadlift. So the next stretch is going to be the deep squat stretch to help with our deadlifts and squats. It's a really good exercise to perform. So you can do the third world chair, as people call it. So basically just sitting like this. So you want to be able to do it with an upright spine. Mine's a little flexed, but that's why we hold on to something. That way you can lean backwards and keep an upright spine. You want to go as far out as your legs will let you until you start to round that spine. And you want to try to push those knees out as far as they can really hard with the elbows. So you should feel a really good stretch on the inner part of the thighs. So we're trying to open up those hips. So if you have a band, it's very helpful for this stretch. So you want to really thick band. Get inside of it. Around the hips, the butt. You want some pretty good tension on it. That way it's pulling you forward. The reason why you want it to pull you forward, that way I can lean back and not fall down. That way I can open up my hips even more. So pushing my hips out with my elbows. And then you come up to the band. Side where you're staying upright. So about 30 seconds like this, and then add more to the side, so I'm leaning to the left, and then moving to the right. We want to try to get all the way out to where we do our single deadlifts. See how low we can get. Still, you can push your elbows, push your knees out. And the final stretch will be the Piriformis, it's a muscle deep in the butt. It tends to get pretty tight. So I like to rest my leg on the bench, a chair, bed, whatever. You can even do it on the ground. So I brace this knee against the bench, that way I can just lean forward and not fall. Try to push this elbow or this knee to the ground. And try to touch your chest to this foot. So mine's super tight. I can't even get my knee to the bench. So it looks like I'm not even stretching, but I feel a really big stretch. And I feel it right. All of these leg stretches that we did are really good for chronic back pain because those muscles typically get tight and they cause hyperextension of your spine in order to stand upright, which causes what we call axial back